Welcome to Blackberry Ridge. We're back out at the area that I am setting up for our hydroponic system. And I do have two videos that are out that are explaining how to set up the hydroponic system. So if you haven't watched them, stop here, back up, and see how we set this up. The system right now is run where I have 10 buckets. And I'm going to step out here into the sun. And since I have these suckers that are still in the dirt and poor little things, I mean, they're even putting off tomatoes. They need to desperately get into the hydroponic system or get put into the dirt up in the garden area. I needed to extend our hydroponic system. But I started running into a situation with the drain on this. The way I have this set up now, the way that it is tipping down, it's draining really well from this area right here and going all the way down. There's a slight decrease in how the drain works all the way down to here. But when I dummied up or tried to figure out how to put the pipes together to see about the length, I ran into a situation when I moved the bucket down here to the end, put the joiner here, that I couldn't get enough slope on this for it to be able to go downhill. And so the water at this area right here where I had joined the two pieces together, since I don't glue it, it just leaked right there. So I tore that back apart, put the bucket back underneath it. And I really want to go all the way down to the very end here. So I needed to have it to where I'd had quite a few inches in drop. I measured my bucket, and my bucket was a little over 14 inches tall. So I knew that whatever I was going to use had to be less than 14 inches. I started looking at the different ways I could do it. One would be make something that was lower, or the other thing was to raise this up. I tried picking up this end over here. And remember now, I'm 5 foot tall, 61, almost tomorrow I'll be 61 years old lady, and I tried picking this up, and I couldn't lift up all this weight here. And remember, there's probably about a gallon of fluid that is in the bottom of each one of these buckets, plus the weight of the perlite and the plant and the board. So I just couldn't. I tried raising this up here and to put something under it, and I couldn't do it. So I thought, okay, my option is I'm going to have to tear all of these apart, which was doable, just didn't want to do it at this time. So I had to tear all of these apart, or I needed to find something that was lower than my 14 inches. Of course, I had to spend a few dollars to do this, but I went and I found this tote. It was one of the clear totes. It's a Sterlite tote. It was clear on the bottom. And I had some black spray paint that I used for my IBC tanks. So I have sprayed the bottom of this here black. The reason I do that is to keep out as much algae or much light to form, so it doesn't form algae in here. The next thing that I have done is I went and I got my 2-inch hole saw, and I cut a 2-inch hole in the top here because I have a 2-inch drain. Wrong. So I'm either going to have to use that for something else, cover it up with something. Anyway, 2 inches is wrong. I had to go with the 2.5-inch hole saw. So I put it over here, a 2.5-inch hole. And that fits perfectly for the pipe that I'm going to put down through there, the 2-inch drain. The next thing that I did was that I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to cut this so that I could use it like a 2-piece lid. I tried cutting it with the box knife, and it didn't want to go through very well, and I was afraid that I would end up cutting myself. So, back up and punt, let's go ahead and get the hacksaw. So I got my little hacksaw, and I started cutting with the hacksaw, and it just started going all different directions, started going all kittywomp. So I went and got one of my favorite knives, kitchen knives, the one that's that I used in one of the other videos. It's my favorite knife. I use it for everything, poor little knife. And I ended up cutting this with the knife, and that worked really well. You just put it in the kitchen sink and started hacking away at it, and it worked really well. So now I have it to where I have this that's in 2 sections here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to take and make, this is 58 quarts. Okay, let's just back up on this. This is 58 quarts, which is well over 10 gallons. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make up 10 gallons of grow solution and put in here. So we'll have it um, for dipping out. And then I'm going to go ahead and set the pipe up, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what we have when we get this done. Okay, so let me show you what I've done at this point. Okay, this is the last hole that we had right here, and I have put this coupling on that I paid 79 cents for. I just happened to buy this. You can buy it at any hardware store, I believe, but I got this at 33 Hardware in Maynardville. And it's just something that you use to stick the pipes together and join them. These are not glued together. They're just stuck together. And then I went through and I took my yardstick and I measured from the hole and measured where 11 inches. This is actually more like 11 and a half inches. I didn't want it, so close to the coupling here. So I measured 11 inches. I don't know how on pipe you keep things where they're straight. So I just use the old lady hillbilly trick, and I just put it where the words were up. And I just followed the words that's written on the pipe because I figured that's straight. And I just came down through here, and here's another mark at 11 inches and another mark. And we're going to go all the way down to the end. And then what I did was I took my 90 degree, stuck on there, and then inside here, I took a scrap piece of 2.5 inch pipe, and I just stuck it through onto this 90 degree here, and I just stuck it down here. It could have been a shorter piece, but this is the length that I had. And the cutter that I have goes to 1 5/8 inches. I could take my hacksaw and cut this, make it shorter, but there's no reason for that. I mean, it's going to drain nicely even with this big long piece here. Then the other thing that I did was that I went down here to this hole right here, and I poured sweat bees. I poured a cup of water or solution in this hole here, and I just wanted to make sure that it would drain okay and that we've got enough of a decline on this to where it's going to go down okay. And it seems to be working pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead now, and like I said before, I'm going to put the solution, put 2 5-gallon buckets, 10 gallons in here. See where that hits us on here for how full it is. The other thing that I may have to do, because these totes aren't real sturdy, is that I may take a piece of string or something and tie around all the way around this a couple of times just to help to keep it from where it's wanting to bow out a little bit. And I will get back with you. Okay, we are downstairs in my basement area, and this is where I keep the buckets with the gamma lids with the calcium nitrate, and this is the master blend. This is the solution mixes that I get from Morgan County. So what we're going to do is we're going to double this up for each. When we're doing the hydroponic mix for 5 gallons for tomatoes, we want 12 grams of master blend, 12 grams of calcium nitrate, and 6 grams of Epsom salt. And I just keep this written on this lid just in case I have an idiot moment. So we're going to double this, so I'm going to do 24. And I'm just going to show you with the this, how much 12 grams looks like. I mean, it's like nothing. So I'm going to tare this. You can see it's 0. Like I say, we're down in the basement. And I'm going to kind of break it up. This stuff, when it gets... I've been using off of this now, just let you know, for about 4 years. Now, there's a tablespoon. Not a true tablespoon measure, but, like a kitchen tablespoon. And that has me at 17 grams for that amount right there. 17. We need 24. 17. It's gone up to 18. So I'm going to use less than 2 tablespoons of this for 10 gallons. I mean, it takes like nothing. Yep. Went over. So that's all for 10 gallons. Okay. And it's going to be about the same for the master blend. Now the master blend, if you all know that the Miracle Grow is, they call it the blue stuff. The master blend is green. That's 1 tablespoon. And there we are. So I have that much left out of 2 tablespoons of the master blend. This stuff will last you forever. I mean, not forever, but for a really, really long time. I've been using this for over 2 years. And I'm going to go upstairs. I won't show me measuring, but I'm going to do the Epsom salt, and it's going to be about 1 tablespoon of the Epsom salt. Okay, so I have gone ahead and I have mixed up the 10 gallons of solution and got it in the tub. Got everything put together here. I went and I got some baling string from the hay bales that I had saved, and I tried wrapping the hay bales around the distance around through here, and that didn't keep it from wanting to sprawl out from the weight of the water. So I got to thinking a little bit more about it, and so what I did was that I went across this way with the string. I haven't cut it off yet, just because I want to make sure that if it's going to stretch. So I'm going to leave it there for a few days and see if it's going to stretch. I also can tell that where the water level is for the 10 gallons. It's right where there's a little line that's in the container here. So I won't have to carry, you know, gallon by gallon the water over to make sure that I get the proper amount of water. I can just go and fill it up to that line and then fill it up to the line that's right here and then put my solution in. And I know that I've got my 10 gallons, plus or minus a gnat's butt. And in the country, you know how big a gnat's butt, and that ain't very big. So this is what we're doing now. I'm getting ready to cut the holes in the pipe. And I think the next time that I go into town, I'm going to buy me another one of these puppies right here, because my pipe came in a 10-foot length, and the people at 33 Hardware in Maynardville, they graciously cut the piece into 2